Okay, Ziki's today's catechism is
Which one is the new Bible?
question 35.
Which one is the new?
This one's new. Question 35. What's question 35 in the catechism?
The Passion of Christ.
Come on, read.
At the very top, that's
The Passion of Christ. We're going to read about the suffering of Jesus, but what's the question for today, baby?
Did Jesus have any friends?
Okay, read properly without the rhyming. But didn't Jesus have any friends left? That's the question for today. Okay, let's do popcorn. Dad will read the first one. When the Passion of Christ began, come on, don't leave me hanging, baby. Come on.
Passions.
Many? Come on, son. Didn't Jesus have any friends left? Okay, that's the question for today. Yes, you did, son. Okay, let's focus our mind. Let's read properly. We're going to do popcorn reading on the answer. Okay, we're going to popcorn read the answer. When the Passion of Jesus began,
Many of his best friends left him.
okay, I need you to read properly, son. Okay?
You want a sentences?
No.
Your behavior, huh?
When Jesus was crucified, some women, Mary, his mother, and
His best friend John.
that's not very many friends left. The disciples slept while Jesus trembled in fear of death. Judas betrayed him for 30 silver coins. Remember Judas, Ezekiel? Okay, follow on with that on this page. On this page, we'll get to that other page, son. Read the next sentence. Read the next sentence, starting with Peter.
Even know Jesus.
Remember, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Remember when we read the Bible last year? He said, "No, I don't know that man." People came up to him and said, "Hey, isn't he your friend?" "I don't know that man." Okay? God's personal policy. Okay, read the small print at the bottom. We're going to get to this page, baby. Why does Jesus choose Peter, the weakest of all disciples, to be the leader of the apostles? All the Gospels report his failures, but Peter is not the only example. How does a brutal persecutor of Christians like Paul become great apostle of the nations? Remember when Paul was Saul? He was so bad, and then God chose him.
Saul was bad, and then God.
Paul's name was Saul, and then he said, "No, you're going to be a leader in my church. You're going to change." And Paul had a conversion. Saul had a conversion. God changed his name to Paul.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
He was bad in the beginning.
Paul was bad in the beginning when his name was Saul. He was persecuting Christians.
Why? He was still alive when he did a lot of bad stuff.
He started out bad, and then God changed him. God brought conversion in his heart, and he changed, and he said, "I'm real sorry." Remember, like David, okay? When David made mistakes, he had a humble heart. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, God." And he had a humble heart. And that was Saul. When Saul...
Wait! Remember you said before he wasn't going to say sorry? Remember that?
This was 2 different Sauls. Remember, there's Saul in the New Testament who became Paul, and then there's King Saul. King Saul is a different story. King Saul, who we read about in the Bible just a few minutes ago, he started out bad, right? He started out good, and then he acted foolish later.
And then he didn't say sorry.
And he didn't say sorry. He was proud. He's like, no, I know what's best. I'm the king. He got a ego, got a big head. Yeah. So that's Saul, King Saul in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Paul, remember Paul that we studied about, all those letters that Paul wrote? Paul started out bad. In fact, his name was Saul, and he persecuted the Christians. And God brought conversion to his heart, okay? And changed him, and changed his name to Paul from Saul, okay? And he became good. Okay, let's keep reading. This is why God chose even Peter. He denied Jesus, and God still chose him. Hey, you're gonna be the leader of my church. Okay.
Let's go finish your
Why
book.
there's another soul in the New Testament?
There's people with more than one name, like John the Baptist, John the Beloved. Okay, remember John the Baptist, and he lost his head? This is not John the Baptist. This is John the Beloved. He wrote the book of John in the Bible. He wrote Revelation. Yeah.
The other soul said sorry to Papa God.
Yeah, and God changed his name to Paul. And that's the famous Paul who wrote all those letters in the New Testament.
The famous Paul.
The famous Paul. Yeah.
Not King Saul.
Not King Saul. That's different. They're two different people. Okay. The Catechism is using that as an example. Hey, God chose Paul when he was persecuting the Christians. He said, no, you're going to be a leader of my church. And he brought conversion to his heart.
On chapter 37 is a new.
I know. Let's focus on today's baby. Okay? Here, Dada's going to finish reading down here. You follow along. Okay? We're talking about God chose Peter. Even though Peter was weak in many ways, God chose him and made him strong. Okay? God chose Paul when he was persecuting the Christians and brought conversion to his heart. Okay?
Oh no, mine got off. Why?
Okay, find the page and then focus, baby. We gotta finish.
Why doesn't it hold by yourself?
Because books, that's how you do. You gotta hold them, son. Okay? So let's finish. Let's focus your mind and finish, baby. Okay, right here. Let's follow along. Okay? This also applies to those Jesus appoints in a ministry of guidance. By the way, we all have a weak point somewhere. We can be bad friends or even betrayers. There is, however, one comfort, because Jesus said, my grace is enough for you. My power is at its best in weakness. Paul therefore says, Ziki, follow along, baby. Okay, it's not nap time. Okay, at the bottom. Paul therefore says, so I shall be very happy to make my weakness my special boast, so that the power of Christ may stay over me. Okay? That's from 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9.
What?
Last is a quote from Pope Francis, Ziki. Can you read the quote from Pope?
That's a short word.
Yes, it's a short quote. Can you read it, please, son?
Jesus remained faithful. He never betrayed us. Even when he provided for purpose.
Say it properly, baby. Okay? Some respect. This is We're studying about Papa God right now.
I close my Bible.
Later, we're going to read the suffering of Jesus. Here, let's knock it out really quick. Here, read it with Dad. Okay, put this aside, son. Read it with Dada. Come on. Sit up.
Well,
Read that.
Jesus.
Can you sit properly, son?
Here, I'm sitting.
Can you sit properly, please?
Oh, here.
Okay? Focus your mind. We can finish this in like 2 minutes. Okay?
Here. Here.
Read this.
Oh, Dad.
This is about the suffering of Jesus. Okay?
Jesus. He's just a two-hour.
I said read the whole line, son. Come on.
And this and this and this and this. Jesus is said cutis Eucharist.
Okay, look at the word. Jesus institutes the Eucharist. What is this? This is the Last Supper. That's that painting, okay? That's where the Eucharist came from, okay? Jesus institutes the Eucharist, okay? Jesus experiences great agony on the Mount of Olives, okay? That's where he was in pain and then his friends were asleep. The other disciples were asleep. Read this quickly. Come on.
Jesus betrayed with a kiss.
That's Judas. Judas came and kissed Jesus to betray him. And the bad soldiers knew, oh, that's Jesus because Judas kissed him.
Yes.
Next, Jesus is dragged before the judgment seat. Okay, look, they drug Jesus before Pontius Pilate. Read this.
Are those all the bad people?
Yes, those are the bad people. But
What
read.
are their names?
That's Pontius Pilate.
In the middle.
Yes, that's Pontius
How
Pilate.
about those two?
Those are his helpers. Okay, can you read? We gotta finish, baby. It's late already.
Jesus is denied by Peter.
Read it properly, son. The word's denied. He's denied by Peter. Okay?
Why?
Peter said, I don't know that man. Someone said, isn't that your friend? Okay, 3 times Peter said that. Before the cock crowed twice. Before the chicken said, oh. Okay? What is this? Jesus is scorned. Okay, look. They beat him with a whip. Isn't that sad? Jesus is scorned. Read this.
Jesus is crowned with thorns.
Look, they put thorns on his head. Suki. Okay, we're almost.
Let me see. Is thorns bad?
Yes, it's very bad. It hurt his head. It poked his head. A bunch of thorns and they're poking his head. Okay, they were mocking him. They were teasing him. Okay?
Is thorns bad too?
Yes, it's very painful. Jesus is presented to the people. Ecce homo. Okay? He's saying, here, take this man. Okay, read.
Jesus needs to carry his own cross.
Oh, they made him carry his own cross, and it's so heavy, and he was beaten and so tired. Jesus falls under the cross. He fell down. Read.
Simon
Of Cyrene.
Simon is forced to help Jesus.
Okay, the Roman soldiers said, hey, go help this man carry his cross. Okay, Simon of Cyrene was the man who helped.
Is he good, Simon?
Yes, he's very good. He
How
helped.
about him?
He's bad. He's the Roman soldier.
But he said to help Jesus.
Because he had to get Jesus to the hill. Okay, and so he said, help that man. And so Simon of Cyrene helped him. Next.
Is Simon good?
Yes, he's very good. He helped Jesus.
That he doesn't know he's bad.
There's your binky.
He doesn't know he's good.
Yeah, he doesn't know, baby. Okay, next. Veronica presents her veil to Jesus. Okay, Veronica, that was some lady in the crowd. She gave a veil to Jesus.
Is
Okay?
she bad?
She's good. She's very good. She gave a veil to Jesus. Okay, next. Read.
Oh, because I told you. Remember over here when it was the 4. Remember on your 32. I told you. These ones were the good ones.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. I think she was one of those. Okay, come on. Let's finish, baby.
Good.
It's late already.
She
Come on.
is good. Jesus is nailed to the cross.
Jesus is nailed to the cross. And finally, Jesus dies on the cross. Okay? So that's it, baby. You have any questions?
5 already, huh? Break it faster.
Look,
So have to popo.
look.
Yeah, that's Jesus. He died on the cross, baby. We gotta eat foods, okay?
He rose on the third day.
Yes, he did.